Good morning. Godspeed to everyone.
Good
Welcome
afternoon. Good evening. Good
Yeah.
day to you.
Yeah. Whatever time zone you're in. Welcome back to the Tapehead Massacre podcast. It's been 60 odd days. I am your fearless leader, Tyler. And who's that?
Am your.
Who's that guy? Who's that guy?
Hello. I am your. I'm your captain.
El Capitan.
Caleb the captain.
Caleb the captain. Captain Caleb, as we call him.
Captain Caleb. All
Yeah.
right.
And I'm Tugboat Tyler.
Tugboat Tyler. Tugboat tie guy.
That's it, dude.
Well, what's going on, guys? It's been a minute. There's been reasons because it's been so long. We've said this before on the show that like we have these like intermittent breaks, and they happen for multiple reasons. But this time, it basically came down to the sheer fact of I have the new job, which we spoke on for the last episode, I believe.
Yeah.
And well, I'm working 5 12-hour days, and it's fucking terrible. And I'm coming home, and I'm like not even watching movies, and like barely watching TV. Like it's like I come home, I eat, and I go to sleep, and I wake up, and I do it all again the next day. And then all my shit that I want to do is crammed into the Saturday and Sunday. So unfortunately, I've become like a weekend warrior, which I despise. So
yeah, well, I mean, I think we're both in that position. I mean, I got the new promotion
right
over the last few months, basically in July. So that's kind of when all this sort of kicked off. But we've become living embodiments of the song "Working for the Weekend." Everybody's working for the weekend. Yeah, that's what we've been.
Shit.
Yeah, that's all right. But you know, if we were together, that would have been synced up perfectly. I know. Yeah, but we've become the living embodiment of that. So, you know, in an effort to curtail that as much as possible and have some freedom, and not be wage slaves, we're back up again. It's been a couple months, but you know what?
We have an agenda, all right?
We have an agenda.
We know where we're going to work. We know how we're going to work, and we know how this is going to continue on. And
exactly.
No more excuses. No more time off. That's it. We're back in it, baby. And
everybody's working for the podcast now.
That's it. We're working for the podcast. That's
the saying.
And there's a lot of really cool things happening. There's been things continuously happening since we've been astray.
Yes.
But the first thing is that we now have an artist for the show, which is pretty cool.
Pretty wild, yeah.
You know, if you go over on our Instagram, you will see. All right, I haven't really asked, and Bobby, if you're listening, I haven't asked how to pronounce your last name. I'm gonna imagine that it's Canopy, I think,
or Knipe,
or Kanipi. I'm gonna say Canopy.
We should play a game. We should do a poll of how everybody thinks the name's pronounced, and we'll do like the pronunciations, how they do when you like Google a definition of a word. I think we should take a vote on that. I'm thinking. I'm gonna go with Knipe. I'm putting 20 on Canopy. All right, I like it.
I'm going Canopy.
Good old Canopy.
Good old Canopy.
Bobby Canopy. I like it.
There we go.
That sounds like a weird Tommy Bahama alter ego. What's up, Bobby Canopy? Like he's like your local like alcoholic that just is at like every Jimmy Buffett show. I like that guy.
Yeah, in Margaritaville.
That's it, dude. Well, anyway, continue. Sorry, I just had to get that in.
That's okay. So, Bobby Canopy Jr. is writer, director, producer, actor. He's been doing our artwork for us, and he just did artwork for us, and
it's fucking awesome.
It's fucking really sick. He made us a really beautiful logo.
It makes us look like we know what we're doing.
Exactly. So thank you, Bobby. We appreciate it. And then also really cool is next week we will have him on the show to talk about his newest film, which is a sequel, Shark Exorcist 2. And you can check out part 1, the original. It's on Amazon Prime for free if you obviously have Prime.
Well, we should.
You should go watch that.
Beautiful. I was gonna say, sorry to keep cutting you off, dude. I know we're
fine.
We're on shaky legs here on our first one in.
We got to get the cobwebs off.
We got to get him in. But I think we should hold the release of how to pronunciate his last name until that episode. I think that's the first thing we should start with. I'm calling it now.
Yeah. No, I like that. So we're gonna have him on the show next week. We'll figure out how to say his name, and we're gonna talk about his new film. And yeah, all around great guy. He is also a fellow tape collector and horror film connoisseur. So it's going to be a really sweet time talking with him about his movie and movies. And he has a documentary that I believe is about to be finished or is finished. I'm not entirely too sure. We will find out next week. But it's called the Mom and Pop Doc. It is all about mom and pop video stores that ran the fucking 70s, 80s, and 90s. And he went around literally the entire United States interviewing video store owners
which is awesome.
Their experiences. I'm really looking forward to see it. Maybe we can get an early screener of it before it comes out so we can
it'd be cool to even hear a story about one of those individuals too.
We'll definitely have to get that out of him.
Because there's all
to talk about it.
There's the mom and pop wave. There's the blockbuster wave that basically the mall of video stores that sort of swallowed it whole. So it'd be cool
Hollywood
to be able to
video and shit like that. Yeah.
Exactly. It'd be cool to kind of see that, that growth pattern, and ultimately what's led to what we could have probably done was own a fucking video store. I could see it, 30 years ago.
Yeah, I would say that would be what I would be doing right now. Definitely not delivering water for a living. That's for
no.
Sure.
We just be recommending movies all day. Out of the.
Have you seen this?
Yeah, I know you want to see this dog shit. Try this. Yeah, like I would
tapes in people's faces.
Yeah, I'd be that gatekeeper.
For real,
like physically and like metaphorically speaking. With
they come up to the counter with a movie and they'd be like, "You do not want to see Sleepless in Seattle. You want to see Sleepaway Camp." And then here you go. And then just like
we just they'd be like, but then what would happen? I think is we would get this like weird like word around town that like, by the way, these dudes really love horror movies. So like just yes them to death, but like continue with what you want to watch. But they're gonna recommend something that has something to do with that movie, but in a horror movie.
Yeah, but see, what we would just do is we would just replace the tapes. Like they'd be like,
true.
They'd come up and then we'd give them the rental case, but it would have a different tape inside it.
Damn, we bamboozle a whole town.
Yeah, we would. We'd get everybody on the fucking the B cuts.
That's a top headline in 1983. If we could travel back in time and own a VHS store in 1983,
that's fucking movie store owners bamboozle entire town into thinking they're watching rom-coms.
They're
watching gore porn films from fucking Herschel Gordon Lewis or something.
Yeah, that's top page on Salem County News in 1983. 100%. They'd easily probably like try to like have like almost like the fucking KKK burns crosses.
You know what's crazy?
Just burn like shit at the front of the VHS store if we did that. It would not be a good look. Yeah. They would riot. They would pillage and riot.
I should get fucking Bobby to interview my fucking uncle, because if you remember at the beginning of the podcast, if all you veteran listeners out there, my Uncle Ray, he he owned a video store from like fucking, I think it was like 1986 to like 97 or 8, something like that. So
it's a good run.
Yeah,
it's a good decade run.
That was the only thing Alloway Township had. So it was that fucking gas station pizza.
Yeah, and I think they've kept the pizza joint in the gas station. The gas station
is open periodically.
Periodically, and it doesn't really ever sell gas even when it is open.
Yeah,
which is what I love about
just
that.
Like, do you want me to pretend to fill you up? That's fine.
Yeah, I wonder what if that was like a whole mob front and we just had no idea. Like that was the whole thing.
Was happening through there.
Literally, like they just had the gas station but never
Fulton
pumped
Bank
gas.
Isn't real. Nobody actually has an account there. The money just gets siphoned in through there.
Literally.
We should probably be careful with what we say, because we might be onto something.
Yeah, we might be. We might have just opened Pandora's box
cracked
and
the case.
And see, I'm a little bit closer than you are. This thing might just go just black.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Help me!
Help! Yeah, that's exactly what it would be.
I love that.
Yeah.
But so I've been recently, on the topic of like watching things and not watching things, I've actually been able to have some like, some time recently in the last couple of days, specifically probably within the last like 3-4 days. I've actually been like keeping my eyes peeled to some screens and watching some stuff. And the one thing I did start 2 days ago, it's going to be, a process, as I'm sure, I think you watched part 2, but In Search of Darkness.
Yes, that is a heavy watch. It's heavy watch.
Yeah, it's like 4.5 hours, but totally worth it. They go through a lot of different things. I mean, they go through literally year by year, 80, 81, 82, 83.
Yep.
It's basically the golden era of horror, the 80s. And they interview actors, actresses, directors, producers, fucking composers, all kinds of people. There's fucking like musicians in there, like Corey Taylor and shit. Like,
yeah, that's
so
right.
There's a lot of really cool like segments from different people that they have in this documentary. Definitely worth the watch if you have Shudder. It's on there. And then one thing I did check out, it was a 2-day process because on the first day I was dead tired and I fell asleep. But did finish it up on the second time through, was M. Night Shyamalan's new film, Old.
Oh, what did you think? So I didn't see it, but if you wanted to give me it without giving me all of it, what would you say?
Goob.
Goob.
Okay, so I also got a dog, a puppy. I got a puppy. So if you hear some barking, it's the new family member. All right, hold on. He wants up on the bed, so give me 1 second.
Yeah, we got to introduce Goob. Come on.
See, he knows exactly how to get up on the bed, but he's lazy. He needs help.
I like that kind of dog, though. He knows what's up. He knows his owner.
He knows what I'll do.
Yeah, you'll do it for him. Why does he need to worry about it? God, I wish I was a dog sometimes. Aw.
There he is.
Look at him. Welcome to the table. We should just have him sit in one day for the podcast.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, there you go. That's his intro. I love it.
He ripped out my cable. That's okay.
Oh, that's good.
Hold on 1 second. I can't hear anything, and we're back.
Nice. He'll just keep. I like it. He's adding a twist to chaos to this podcast.
He is. He's making it crazy.
That's it, dude.
But so with Old, it's super cool. Very strange. Very interesting concept. I had a really good time watching it, and I would definitely recommend it. It's on Vudu right now for early access.
Okay.
So, do you have my Vudu login? I think you do.
Here's the thing.
I'll give it to you again.
We've had this conversation. You know what's funny? You gave it to me the first time, and I'm sure that plenty of people have friends like this where we do this. But you gave it to me one time, and we've had that same back and forth. I think at least a dozen times over the last like year and a half. Where you're like, "Do you have it?" I'm like, "I don't." But give me the login. You're like, "I'll give you the login," and then we both forget.
All right, so after we wrap this episode, I'll give you the login because I did buy it on there, and you can watch.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
So, as well as the rest of my movie library, that I've like all my digital stuff. So anytime I buy like a Blu-ray, it comes with a digital download. It goes to my Vudu account.
Oh, tight.
Old was fun. It was a good watch, really good watch. It has M. Night starring in it, but it also has the son from Hereditary in it. His name is. Say again.
Naked Brothers Band. I don't know.
That's definitely his name.
Yeah, Naked Brothers Band. But he's from that show, Naked Brothers Band. I do know that. Thanks to Kate.
Is it Alex Wolff?
It is.
Yeah, Alex Wolff. Yeah.
Yep.
He's in a band?
He is. Well, it was a Disney band.
You're fucking with me.
Called the Naked Brothers Band.
What the fuck? Oh, shit. Okay.
Yeah, that's like where he like started apparently.
No idea.
Kate pointed out.
The first time I ever saw his face was Hereditary. So
when we started watching Hereditary, she went Naked Brothers Band, and I was like, what? And then
what is that?
She had to explain it, but yeah, that was. But I wasn't a Disney kid, so I was a Nickelodeon kid. But you were Bunny Ears kid.
Yeah, I was Bunny Ears kid.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, so
6'10", 29, 57 or whatever. So
there you go, dude. It. You were living in the 70s. You know, that's where you were, 70s and 80s child. But I'll tell you, I gotta ask this with Old. What did M. Night Shyamalan give you the Shyamalan old fashioned? Was there any twist?
I got thrown through a few loops in that.
Loop, swoop, and pull, eh?
Yeah, I mean he does that in every film. So
yeah, he does.
I would definitely say go check it out. It was really good. Buy it on Vudu. It's worth it. You could rent it on Vudu as well. I think it was like $20 for the ultra high def copy, which is of course what I bought.
Nice.
And then I think it's like $10 to rent it. But like at that point, it's like spend the extra 10. And
yeah.
I mean, I guess maybe like you spend $10 to take a risk, but like spend 10 more and you own it. And I don't know. Either way.
Yeah, it's whatever you want to do with your money.
I feel like spending $10 on a digital rental, is a little excessive.
Yeah, you might as well just commit at that point, right? I'm kind of with you. If it was rent for like $6.99 or $5.99, all right, maybe. Yeah, I'll consider it. But 10 whole smackaroos, you might as well just double your money.
I'm going to buy it. That's it.
Yeah, roll the dice. Roll the fucking dice, people. Just buy Old. Just buy Old on Vudu and shut up.
That's it. Just
that's
enjoy
all I
it.
gotta say.
All right, it's another M. Night Shyamalan banger, so just go check it out. Definitely not. Actually, you know what? I don't know. I'd have to give it another watch again. I think it does deserve a second watch. But
here's a great question, and I'd be curious what other people listening would think too. Best M. Night Shyamalan movie. I have mine.
The Happening.
That's yours, huh? Wow, that's a hot take. That's a hot take. I like it.
Yeah, no, that's a crazy cool concept. It was fun. Mark Wahlberg in that is awesome.
Huh? What? What are the trees doing? Huh? That's Mark Wahlberg the whole time. What? Why are they killing themselves? What?
Yeah.
It's just questioning everything.
Shyamalan? What do you mean?
Yeah, I really like our Mark Wahlberg impression.
It's good.
It fucking slapped. Mine is Signs.
Listen. I mean, that was that's an old school OG.
But some people hate it.
And he's a local guy. I actually wound up delivering to. Oh, Jesus Christ! I actually wound up delivering to his studio.
Oh wow!
It's in Media, PA, and that's usually my delivery area.
Oh,
and I forget what the production studio is. Let's see. The fuck's the place called? Blinding Edge.
Whoa. Was there a trap door when you delivered? Did you just fall through like a trap door?
No, I had delivered to the dock. So
there you go.
Cool.
Wasn't as glamorous.
Wasn't as cool. Yeah. Blinding Edge Pictures. I believe that's it. Maybe not. It's not coming up here, but let me see. Fucking
Blinding Edge sounds like what it would be.
Shyamalan production company. Yeah, Blinding Edge Pictures, but it doesn't say location. Don't mind you guys.
Yeah, it's cool. You do your research. We do research on the fly, guys.
Oh yeah, this is it.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is it. It's Blinding Edge Pictures. Yeah, it's in Berwyn. I thought it was in Media, but
still,
yeah,
I wouldn't know the difference.
There's a lot going on there. They have a lot. They've worked with like Servant, The Happening, The Village, Signs, all of his movies basically.
I did not like The Village.
Oh, I like The Village. I thought it was good.
Did you? I don't know. The twist doesn't do it for me. It just kind of sucks the weight out of it for me.
It's a little different, but you know it's cool. You know, it'd be cool to see like M. Night like team up with like A24.
Oh sure.
Because they're like the king of twists, and like you have like A24's color palette mixed with like fucking M. Night's
dude.
like just like plot twist shit. Like it'd be fucking killer.
Oh my god, yeah. It'd be a mental fuck.
Yeah, so I saw old, been watching fucking In Search of Darkness. Obviously we watched this week's episode's film, The Burning. But I'm trying to think. I picked up a bunch of tapes recently. We went to the Trenton Punk Rock Flea Market, and got some cool tapes. Got like Bloody Murder, which was like a cover that like I remember seeing in Blockbuster a lot when I was younger. Nice. And I don't think I've ever seen it, but I just remember seeing the cover all the time. Kind of has like that like My Bloody Valentine like vibe like of the cover anyway. Got like Monsters Revenge, which I didn't know was a thing. It's like a film. And it's got it has Fred Gwynn playing Herman, and I forget Lily Munster's actress's name, but it has the original Herman and Lily Munster's actor and actress playing them, but like Butch Patrick isn't playing Eddie, and
oh cool.
It's like so it's I want to check it out. It looks cool. Young Frankenstein, a couple Godzilla films.
It's a great one. Can't go wrong with Young Frankenstein.
Yeah, and then my homie, shout out to Psycho Pirate VHS, Dylan Henry. He is the one that actually supplied me with my tape of The Burning. I'm not going to spend the crazy amount of money to have the original copy of The Burning. Maybe eventually one day. But to me, like having original copies, now I love this movie, but like I'm not like a fanatic. Like something for maybe like the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Like I do want to own like the original Wizard video release of Texas Chainsaw. Like that would be huge.
Sure.
But like that, there's not really like many like original, like things that I'm like, I don't search for them. So bootlegs are totally fine for me.
it gets the job done.
It gets the job done. I might get fucking, shit for this, but there's you pretty much eliminate the risk of mold and weird playback issues, because it's coming right from, usually a digital copy of the film, however your bootleg guy makes it. But Dylan always does a great job for copying. But so he got me the other day in the mail. I got Microwave Massacre from him, as well as
Well, I saw Empire Records in one of those, but I don't know if that was actually from him or not. In fairness,
he got me. Oh, I did get Empire Records. Yeah, I got that at the flea market. But he sent me Microwave Massacre, and he also sent me Cannibal Ferox. I have a copy of Cannibal Ferox, aka Make Them Die Slowly, but it's a PAL version, so I can't play it on my VCR. But it's a cool cover, so that's why I got the PAL version. But
nice.
Anywho, been watching some stuff. A lot of The Sopranos still. We're still not finished yet. We're gearing up to be able to watch The Many Saints of Newark, which just came out on the 1st of October.
Yeah. I've heard some feedback on that.
Yeah, I've heard back and forth. I've heard it's terrible. I heard it's great. And then some people are also complaining about the ending of The Sopranos still, which I don't know what the ending of The Sopranos is.
Oh, I even knew that. Well, I kind of spoiled things for myself.
This is our first watch of it, so we've never seen it. We do not know what happens at the end. I do not want to know. So that's it.
Yeah.
But so that being said, here we are. Tyler, what have you been watching?
Yeah, what have I been watching? Well, let me tell you guys, the last couple months it's been and much like Caleb, it's been all work and no play. And it makes Tyler a dull boy. So what can I say? But I have caught a few things. One of the most recent things myself and Kate watched that I thought was really good. I've heard things people are kind of all over the map about it, is Midnight Mass on Netflix. I really liked it.
I've been seeing a lot of people posting about it, and I haven't watched it, but I definitely want to check it out.
I will tell you, Caleb, it's definitely it's kind of where our likes and dislikes come in a little bit. It's super slow, very dialogue driven movie, or series. But if you can, what I'll probably recommend to anyone who hasn't watched it, including yourself, is you have to get through arguably the first 3 episodes, which can be a commitment because they're hours long. They're an hour-long episode. Sure. So you got to get through 3 hours really in total of watch. But the actors and actresses in the movie, or keep calling it a fucking movie, series, do really well to kind of hold it through, and then it kind of explodes at the end. There's some things I don't like about it. I will say that I'll keep some of that under wraps, but give some people some watch time on it. Your whole apartment just falls.
Yeah.
There's a whole earthquake.
I realized I didn't
happening.
have my pop filter on this whole time, so this is probably gonna sound like shit up until now. But
yeah, you'd be all right. But no, it was very good. It sucked me in. I watched it all in one day. I just binge watched from probably 7 a.m. until I don't want to say, probably 2 o'clock in the afternoon, 3 o'clock in the afternoon. So I put in some time on it, but it was very good. I watched another newer movie that came out. It came out in 2020 called Werewolves Within. Okay. And it's sort of a la Shaun of the Dead. I wouldn't say it's as clever. Definitely not as clever, without a doubt. As far as horror comedy is concerned, Shaun of the Dead is peak horror comedy to me. I don't know if anyone would really disagree with that or not, but it was good. The fucking girl from Geico is in it. Like the Geico commercials. I can't remember her name, but if you see her face, you're going to be like, Geico lady. But and then Guillermo, the guy who plays Guillermo in What We Do in the Shadows, the TV show. He's in it. But it's this whole horror comedy based around this park ranger moving to a secluded town in the mountains of what looks to be like New England, I guess. And basically he runs into a situation where it's a town terrified and harassed by werewolves. But it's a whole horror comedy, and it's pretty cool. It's kind of this whole game of Clue where everybody gets trapped into this huge hotel, and it's this very 1900s, late 1800s hotel. So it's the best way I could describe it, especially once they get into the hotel, is if anyone's ever seen Haunted Honeymoon, which has, oh my god, I'm blanking on his fucking name, and how can I be? He's the OG Willy Wonka. What the fuck is his name?
Oh,
the actor.
Jesus Christ!
And that's such an easy one. Such a gimme. Hold on, I'm gonna have to look it up.
Why is it? Why?
So unfortunate.
God.
Oh my god, Gene Wilder. Gene Wilder. It's Gene Wilder, and it's
wow. Oh my god.
What's her face from SNL in the 70s? It's Gene Wilder, and it was her last movie actually. Gilda Radner.
Nice.
And Dom DeLuise, and it's one of the Gene Wilder movies that's super underrated, but it's this whole it kind of pulls. We should watch it, honestly. I think you would get a kick out of it. It hasn't probably aged as well as when I watched it the first time when I was like 7-8 years old, but
yeah,
it's all based on kind of around this radio horror show, because remember that was a thing in the 50s and 60s, like super well known. They had these like radio hosts, Gene and Gilda Radner, as their characters played characters on this radio show, but they get trapped in this hotel, and there's all this creepy shit happening. There's like a werewolf man, and Dom DeLuise sort of plays this like gender bending role. So it's super out of left field for its time, but my God, I fucking love Haunted Honeymoon. And I'd be curious, anyone listening to this episode, or when you listen to this episode, please let me know if you've seen Haunted Honeymoon. I don't know anyone who has, and it'd be nice to know that I'm not in like isolated company here. And more importantly, that you like it. If you hate it, I don't know. That's just gonna make me feel sadder. But if you like it, I want to know.
Cool. All right. Well, what was the other movie?
Another movie I watched that's an OG, and I think we've probably talked about it in passing, that I'd never seen, but actually Kate went on like a bender with older horror movies, was Black Christmas.
Oh, yeah.
Never saw
it. The OG's good. The remake's good.
The OG, dude, it actually like scared me.
Man, you guys jumped the gun on that. That's a fucking Christmas movie.
Dude, yeah, we just kind of went ahead. We're like, fuck it. I know it's not this holiday, but it was also summer. It's coming up. It's coming up.
But what? You know what the biggest thing about this episode is? The burning's amazing. We're going to talk about it. Don't worry.
Yeah, we'll get to it.
The most amazing part about this episode is that this is our first episode of the show ever being recorded within the month of October, which is spooky season, baby. It is upon us. Here we are. Last year, shit got fucked. Here we are. We're back. We're in it.
Yeah.
This is our. Yeah,
we're in it, dude. Yeah, that's
we're
true.
in it, baby. Halloween is coming the fuck up, baby. This is the best time of year. The fall is here. The fucking pumpkin spice bullshit's out. All right.
I've had a lot of it.
Pumpkins. It's the same. I'm fucking drinking it right now.
And let me ask you this. Just a hot take here for a second. It's not. I always say this on the I'm actually making really hot takes, but I'm never really making hot takes.
That's a hot take.
But pumpkin spice, to me, and I like it and I enjoy it, but it tastes like a candle smells.
Oh,
does that make any sense to you? Speaking of candles.
Time for a sponsor plug.
That's it.
So today's episode is brought to you by Wiki Candles.
We need to make a little drop there.
It's fine. I'll
us
do that.
beatboxing. I don't know if Kathleen's gonna like that or not, but I think she'll get a kick out of it.
Well, listen, guys. Wiki Candle Company is a new company based out of New Jersey, our stomping grounds.
Yes.
And she makes great horror-themed candles, which you see burning in the background here for any of you watchers that like watching us on the YouTubes. I am burning her Leatherface scent, which is notes of leather and a few other things. I forget.
What if it was like what if it was like burning like other scents? That was Leatherface. It smells like polyester and cotton. You'd be like, what?
That doesn't sound right at all.
I actually have.
But it's
I don't have it behind me. Yeah, I got the old wife, the old ball and chain. She's gonna hate that I said that. I got the time warp. I got the time warp candle for it, which is
time warp, which
super fucking cool, man. Rocky Horror, shout out. Which I would love to see this October. I've never been. Kate's been a bunch. I would love to actually go to a live show of Rocky Horror.
The Delsey Drive-In, I believe, does it.
Do they do it? They probably.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
it.
Well, they won't fucking advertise it. So
Landis Theater. Or no, yeah, true that. Landis Theater does it, not Dulcie Drive-In.
Okay, that's what I was gonna say. Yeah, that makes
Landis
more
Theater.
sense. Yeah,
They do
yeah.
it.
And I think Lavoie in Millville does too, but besides the point. Yeah. My mom got a candle for my mom, got a Jaws candle.
Nice.
I also got my sister, who I still have to give it to her, is the Exorcist candle. But I also think
cool.
She did just come out with, and I might be one update behind, but she did come out with a Lost Boys theme candle, which is big ups
here we go. On her website, which is wikicandleco.com, WICKY candleco.com. You get 15% off your first order. However, after you get 15% off your first order, use code TAPEHEAD15 at checkout for 15% off your future orders. So that being said, she's got a lot going on. She's got candles, she's got wax melts, she's got the works. All right, she's got bloodsuckers, Camp Crystal Lake, which will pair beautifully with a cup of coffee,
with a cup of Joe.
With a cup of Joe from Camp Crystal Latte.
I don't have the mug. God damn it.
That's okay, but Tyler's sipping on a nice blend of Camp Crystal Latte right now. I
just slammed the mug. God damn it.
God damn it.
Yeah.
But yeah, we have an excellent day for an exorcism. Great White, Here's Gianni, Leatherface, Halloween, which she titles October 31st, 1978. Clever. I like that.
I like that. I do.
Play Dead, Pet Cemetery nod. Sweet Dreams, a little Freddy nod. Time Warp, and You'll Float Too.
There we go.
So, and then she has all of those same scents in wax melts if you guys are into burning wax. So, all that being said, check out wikicandleco.com to get yourself, let's be honest, your room smells like shit right now.
Yeah, mine does.
It smells like shit. That's okay.
Yeah,
you know what you need in your life? You need Wiki Candle Co. So make sure you go get yourself some horror-themed candles for your horror-themed ass.
And if you happen to be in Salem County, I don't know if it's done today, but you can go tomorrow, certainly, Salem County Fairgrounds. Wiki Candle will be there.
Yeah, if you are local, she will be vending at the Salem County Fairgrounds for the Pumpkin Carve, I believe, is the festival.
Ye Old Pumpkin Carve.
Ye Old Pumpkin Carve, yeah. And they do, there's some cool vendors there and shit, including Wiki Candle Company.
Yeah,
so she will be there. Oh, Waka Waka.
Waka Waka. Yeah, fucking, oh my God. Speaking of burning.
Yeah.
We have a movie for you that we have talked about it on this podcast in so many ways. I think, if not every episode, at least 75% of the 20 some odd episodes we've done so far. What, by the way, is this episode 22, right? 22?
Yeah, this is episode 22.
22? Yeah, 22.
Big
I love
2-2.
It's the big dump. That's what it is. Big old dump.
Before we hop into this, I'm going to do one thing real quick. I'm going to plug this. Sorry, just putting gum.
Yeah,
that's the best idea to do when I'm talking.
No, I really like it. Yeah, that's really gonna add to the ambiance. Just you fucking. Yeah, it's good. It's good, dude. We're back in the game, guys. Back in the game.
We're back.
Yeah, I'm just gonna eat the whole time. I'm just gonna have plates of food.
Chips.
So I really think. Hold on.
All right, let me finish this bite. So, Field of Screams. We're gonna give out.
Oh yes.
Some coupon codes for Field of Screams in Mountville, Pennsylvania, for all of you lovely listeners out there that might live in or around the tri-state area and you want to hit up some haunted attractions. It is in Lancaster, Lancaster County anyway, but Mountville, PA. It's 191 College Avenue. But yeah, if you go follow us on our Instagram, Tapehead Massacre, or at Tapehead Massacre, you're gonna have these coupon codes: $4 off Sunday, $2 off Friday, $5 off Thursday, and then you're gonna get a free Field of Scream shot glass with any Scream shot purchase of $40 or more, and then you're also gonna get $5 off any Field of Screams game card.
There we go. Beautiful.
And they are open Friday to Sunday every weekend from September 10th to November 12th. So even if you miss out on the October festivities, it's open until the 12th of November. So got some coupons for you.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway, let's fucking dive headfirst into this film that is a love of mine, and it was a first for your peepers.
It was.
And I think this is the quintessential camp, fucking summer camp slasher. I think this is the one. Sleepaway Camp is amazing, and I think that is the runner-up for second, and then in comes the Friday the 13th series, and then
sure.
But I think The Burning is, while it might not be looked at in the mainstream view of things as the quintessential summer camp killer or slasher, I think that this should be talked about more, and I think it should get a spotlight in horror, a bigger spotlight,
Sure.
because unfortunately this movie is not viewable on fucking any streaming site.
Yeah.
What did you watch it on? That's probably not true.
Yeah, it's I think
you probably had to buy it.
I did. I rented
it.
I rented it.
Exactly.
Yep.
So
yep.
It's not for stream on anywhere. You have to rent it probably on like Prime or something.
Yep.
But yeah, and it just, I feel like it should be on like Hulu or Shudder at least. Jesus Christ, I feel like it should be on Shudder.
Sure.
For more people to be able to watch this. But I mean, it's a Tony Maylam directed film. Tony had an interesting career. He's done some directorial stuff over the years. The things that he is known for really aren't like your fucking notable type stuff. I mean, Journal of a Contract Killer in 2008, 1977's White Rock, The Riddle of the Sands, Split Second. This is what IMDb credits him for, as known for. But aside from that, he's done some car stuff, like documentaries on fucking Maseratis and Porsches and Alfa Romeos and Aston Martins, Ferraris, and Jaguars.
There you go.
But he must like cars. So, the Genesis concert movie. So he fucks with Phil Collins. We know that.
Yeah,
Fucks with Phil Collins, and he fucks with horror movies. So one thing he got right was 1981's The Burning.
The Burning.
And we don't really have a star-studded cast, minus one person who went on to do some
big things,
some more notable work. That being Jason Alexander. Most of you know him as George Costanza from the sitcom Seinfeld.
Oh, yeah.
And it is very different seeing him skinny and a full head of hair in this.
Nice head of hair, too.
Nice head of hair, yeah.
You really couldn't tell he was balding in this film. Like,
not at all.
If you were to see his trajectory, you're like, that he's going to hang on to that.
And I was. And
he did, kind of.
This is a friend of ours, so I'm going to reference him on the show. I know you listen, buddy, but Ian. I was playing with Ian, video games with Ian earlier. And Ian Johnson.
Oh, yeah.
And Seinfeld's like his favorite show. And I was telling him, I'm like, in this film, Jason Alexander just basically plays like a young George Costanza. Because like his mannerisms are like pretty much the exact same as he is.
Literally.
And he's like in a good mood more than he is in a bad mood. So that might be the only difference, but he's younger. So maybe that's why he's in a better mood. Now that he's older and grumpy, that's him in Seinfeld. So,
well, I wonder, what would be great as far as like character development's concerned? What if George Costanza is fucking, what's his face in this burn, as Dave, all grown up,
and he's grown up Dave.
Yeah. And he's miserable because all the trauma he had from this.
Yeah. All of his fucking
summer camp.
The campers died.
yeah.
But
this is just,
it's like I watched a whole camp die. Because of a fucking burning bitch.
Yeah.
But so but his like he's like the so Dave, played by Jason Alexander, is the guy that can get stuff. So
he's your guy.
If you need anything, he's your guy. You need beer, you need weed, you need cigs, condoms, porno, whatever you got, whatever you need, he's got it. Dave is your guy. All right. But so aside from him, we have Leia Aries, I believe is how you say her name. Again, really not like a she was in Bloodsport. She played Janice in Bloodsport. I know that was like a bigger like kung fu martial arts movie.
Yep.
But aside from that, like She was in Freddy's Nightmares, the TV show. 21 Jump Street, the TV show. She was in one episode. So, like, there's just not a lot going on for her career. Your billed main actor, Brian Matthews, who plays Todd in this film. Days of Our Lives, he was in for a couple of years. Like, we're just not seeing a big jump off this big screen here. From this list of characters. Brian Backer, I believe, was in other stuff. He plays Alfred in this. I know I've seen him in other stuff. Oh yeah, he's in Fast Times.
Yeah, that's exactly where.
Police Academy 4. That's right. He was one of the cadets. So like I've definitely seen him in some things.
Sure.
And he was cool. But
it's true that in very 80s horror movie fashion, right? They, there was a couple bright spots in terms of characters that were, actors and actresses that went on to do something, but a lot of them really didn't do anything super notable other than the movie that we watch them in, right? So it's very of the times, if you will, which, speaking of In Search of Darkness, they talk about that a lot now, where, actors and actresses were just trying to kind of find their way and find gigs, and they often landed into the horror movie genre, where now it's much more intentional. So,
true.
It definitely follows that narrative without question. I think we should also speak about sort of how this movie came to be really quickly.
Yeah.
It was specifically the brainchild of both Tony Malum and one man you may know from stories of the last couple of years, good old Harvey Weinstein, whose name is drenched all over this movie, as a matter of fact, which at the time, right, completely different situation, but it was really their first idea to try to figure out how to make a bunch of money. They had saw the success of Friday the 13th, saw the success of Halloween in the slasher film genre, and this was sort of their jump onto that. So I don't think they did it for a huge budget. I think it was, well, actually, I think I'm lying. I think they ended up, it was like $500,000 budget, $500K, something like that. But this was their idea, and it was shot right in, I don't know if it was the Catskills.
Budget was 1.5. Yep.
1.5. Yeah. So it was a pretty big budget, actually. But this was their cash cow, right? Because they had seen how well other slasher movies had done. So they were like, let's jump on it now before it peters out, right? That was their whole thought process. But part of this film, and as we'll talk about in the movie, the main villain or protagonist, if you will, Lou David, plays a guy named Cropsey, who they often reference throughout this film. And it's actually based on a true crime incident that happened in Staten Island, happening to be where I think both Harvey Weinstein and Tony Malum grew up. So this was something that like followed them like an urban legend, which Cropsey was considered this boogeyman-like figure in this sort of abandoned, rundown, insane asylum in Staten Island. But it ended up turning into a actual, true, real-life crime and killer. I think his name, the guy that ends up being, oh my gosh, yeah, here we go again. Our awesome research department. that's just me and you trying to figure it out on the fly.
That's okay.
But we can get in that later. I'll do some research. But that's actually what that character is based off of, is that true life crime that at the time was still an urban legend. I don't think it got figured out until about 10 or 20 years later. So, which is pretty interesting. So it was still kind of a snapshot in time of what was thought to be versus what it became to be. So cool shit, pretty cool shit. But I just wanted to get that little segment in because I thought that was pretty interesting.
Well, do you want to hear a pretty these crazy fucking connections here?
Yes.
But do you want to know? Did you happen to see who the composer for the film was?
I don't know that I did, quite honestly.
Well, it is Rick Wakeman, founding member of the band Yes.
What?
Yeah, he is the composer for this. He's done a lot of composition work, but it's pretty crazy because he was actually just on WMMR the other day on the Preston and Steve show, and they were talking to him about because I guess Yes is doing another tour.
Oh wow!
But yeah, he's worked on some other films, but like this is definitely like a big one for him. And obviously, he was he worked with like David Bowie and shit. I mean, he's done a lot of shit. So that was definitely pretty cool. And another really cool thing to work out in this whole film and what it is, it's another Tom Savini film. We've had Tom Savini on the show several times now. A lot of his movies we just kind of flock to them because the special effects, we see Tom Savini on the bill, it's going to be good. And fun fact about this film, Tom Savini actually turned down Friday the 13th Part 2 to do this film. So, like, this, that could have been a potentially big thing for him, the first Jason you would have ever, really remembered, the sack on the head, that could have potentially been Savini work.
Sure.
But it wasn't.
Yeah.
And you're talking about Cropsy and everything. We have the opening sequence of this film is these, shitheads setting Cropsy on fire in his bed. And it's a crazy burn scene. And I thought it was a great burn scene, but I'm not a director. I'm not a special effects makeup artist. And Tom Savini was actually not happy with how that burn sequence turned out. He was only given 3 days to work with the special effects for this burn sequence. And
I get that. So I do get that, because if you watch the mechanisms of that scene, as he's especially to kind of walk through it, right? They have this almost like wax skull figurine that the group of boys light on fire, that they put in front of Cropsy, the stoic and I guess what would you call him? Almost dictator-like caretaker of the camp that everyone hates. Yeah. They put it in front of him, and it scares him out of his sleep because he's a drunk, and you see the bottles kind of sort of placed all over. Because at the time I was watching it, I was like, why is he not waking up? He's like, because the kid's making a lot of noise when he's in there. And he's like, shh. Yeah. He's like moving shit around, and I'm like,
wasted. Yeah.
I'm like, anybody would wake that up, but you see the bottles, and you're like, connected the dots.
Yep.
But then he knocks the figurine onto himself, hits the bed, sets himself on fire. But the part that I noticed is as he's tumbling downhill from the back of the cabin that he was sleeping in into the woods, and what I think he ends up in a river, if I'm not mistaken. It almost sounds like there's like a sound effect that sounds like he falls into the river.
He does, because that gives you the he's not dead. There's no body.
Right. There's no real sign or definitive ending on that.
Right.
But if you watch it, because I think it slows it down a little bit. If I'm not mistaken, in that scene, it does slow his tumble down like a couple paces. You can actually see like a helmet being worn by somebody. Like it looks like an astronaut
crash helmet.
Like literally a crash helmet. Yeah, and you're like, oh shit, that's. But that's what's kind of like cool about like 80s films, anyways. You find those little like holes, and you're like,
especially
that's so
now
funny.
with like how they've remastered them digitally to be, like Blu-rays and 4K scans and shit like that. You start to notice little things that weren't picked up in the grainy VHS days.
But it's kind of the beauty of it, though, in a way.
It is.
Like that's what I say. I'm like, oh, that's so awesome.
Funny thing about Rick Wakeman too is there was a fun fact that I read. Basically, they tried offering him like a percentage of like the film's gross.
Yeah.
Like, hey, when this movie makes money, we're gonna give you a percentage of that money, right?
Yeah.
And as it continues to make money, we will pay you. He actually declined because he thought it was going to be a huge flop.
Whoa.
This was actually one of the biggest grossing horror movies in Japan ever.
That's right. It got a huge, like not so much in the US, but overseas in Japan, it like blew the fuck up.
It ended up like being the highest grossing film in Japan.
Yeah.
It's insane.
And I read an article where in the US it did well like its first week, and then it started getting pulled, I think, like right after its first week. And I don't think that it didn't have that big of like a release in the US. But if I'm not mistaken, and I'll have to research this in a second, but I think there were some other big films that came out right when they released.
Oh, there was a lot. There was a lot.
It kind of got swallowed.
Well, I'm pretty sure, like right around the same time, I think Part 2 came out, Friday the 13th, if I'm not mistaken.
I think so.
So, like, I think that had a lot to do with, 1980. No, hold on. Part 2 came out in 81. Yeah, so it's like literally the same time. So, and like that was your camp counselor slasher, you know, and The Burning could have been looked at as a ripoff, but in my opinion.
So it talks about two things. It debuted at number 23 behind slasher films Happy Birthday to Me.
Oh, nice.
And Friday the 13th Part 2.
Okay.
It also suffered from competition from Final Exam, The Fan, Graduation Day, Eyes of a Stranger, and the re-release of Tobe Hooper's Texas Chainsaw Massacre. So think about how many things it went up against. Those are big films.
Yeah.
That's tough. That's tough to ask, especially
it's definitely a tough one.
Yeah, and especially not from a known director or, you know, writer or anything at that time. It's a hard push to make.
The other thing too is that you know, the one thing that they talk on heavy in Search of Darkness is in the 80s how big the ad campaigns were for horror movies. Like you go into a rental store and you just see amazing artwork on these covers, and like the ad campaigns and like the marketing campaigns for these horror movies were beyond any other genre of film, because that was the thing. Like that was your clicker. Like it was, does this have a cool cover? It wasn't, you know, you know, fucking Sean Connery's in this one. Like, oh, another Bond film, I have to see it. You know what I mean? It wasn't like that. Like these didn't have notable actors. These didn't have notable directors. They had cover art that was amazing, and it like tied in a lot with, you know, very grotesque stuff. Sometimes they've completely bamboozled you, and we've talked about on the show before, where like an artwork would be so sick and then it would have nothing to do with what's going on in the film. You know, Wizard Video was notable for doing that quite often, where their cover art had nothing to do with the film. But you know, this cover art really isn't that enticing. So I don't know if they dumped enough money into the ad campaign for this. Because like the cover is really cool. Now it's looked at as, you know, iconic because it's got the guy with the hedge clippers, you know, in the air, and the, you know, the couple kissing in the water. You know, definitely very cool. Very cool cover. However, you know, for a horror movie, you might think that this is like a love romance or something with how the cover is. I mean, it has a tagline, you know, what's it? A legend forever. What the fuck is it? A legend of terror is no fucking camping story anymore. That's hard. That's another thing. Fucking holy shit! If you look at this, like
it's hard to read.
It's the text is blending in with the water. So, you know,
they really
didn't they didn't dump enough money into this ad campaign. Let's just put it that way.
Nope.
So But yeah, basically this movie is a revenge. It's a revenge film. Because, you know, if you have a prank gone wrong that leaves a man horribly disfigured, and he seeks his revenge. And there's been films after this that have come out to try to do the same thing. And have done pretty well. I mean, you even have American Horror Story did something very similar. With their I forget what the fuck it was called. But it was the one season where they were, you know, camp counselors and shit. And, you know, there was a burn victim. You know, there was a whole thing. But
one of the cool scenes in this film in the beginning is you know, when Cropsy's in the hospital, and it's all about the angles with a lot of these horror movies too, is you don't really see his face, but you have him walking out of the hospital finally free, because I think it even says he's been in the hospital for like 3 years from these burns, or 5 years or something like that. It's a long period of time, and you watch him and it's almost, the camera is almost filming from the ground up, and all you see is his legs start to walk out of the hospital, and you hear, and the audio is the conversations that the nurses and doctors are having and saying, don't hold revenge in your heart, don't hold hate in your heart, forgive these kids, forgive these people. And you're like, there's no fucking way. It's just a setup. That's just a setup, you know? So you kind of, that sets the tone for a lot of what's to come with the movie, is that it's a game of revenge the whole way, without question. And kind of like the Friday the 13th, you know, that came before it, came after it, there's sort of the intertwining and bouncing back and forth from getting to know the cast of characters that are at the camp, and Michelle and Todd as the camp counselors, the main camp counselors, and Dave and you know, Alfred, who's probably my favorite because he's just
Well, for a second,
he's
for a
this
second,
Jewish boy.
Yeah, and for a second, you think that Alfred might be the god, because
at
first, it's like Cropsey would be the ideal, suspect, because obviously he was horribly disfigured and he was in the hospital, but maybe they fixed him, maybe they gave him a new face or something, maybe medicine had come along so far, and maybe Cropsey is Alfred. Or maybe Cropsey isn't even in the picture at all. Maybe there's just another psychopath. Well, Cropsey wasn't a psychopath, turned into one, made into one.
Right.
But Alfred, maybe Alfred is this guy, because there's scenes throughout this film where Alfred just happens to be right there at that specific time, and he's like kind of peeping on.
He's a little peeping Tom.
Sally and
Sally in the shower.
Yeah, Sally in the shower, and then the other couple, Karen and
Eddie, old Fast Times Eddie, the fucking New Yorker, the Brooklyn bomber over there. Yeah, hey Sally, why do you want to talk to me? Why you want to hang out? You want to go in the woods? Like he's just...
And then she's like maybe later, and he's like, yeah, really? I'll do it real good for you. I'll do it real good.
It's just like
horrible.
It's like you just talked to a homeless dude who just saw like a pretty woman walking down the road in New York City,
like Shine from Your Mom's House.
Yeah. What does he say?
Hey, my baby.
That's it. Yeah.
I'm gonna eat your booty.
That's it. Like literally, like the New York version. Yeah. No, he's Eddie's the New York version of Unc Shine, without a doubt. But
yeah.
What I was getting back to is what's cool about this film is you also get the perspective, because as soon as he gets out of the hospital, you get the Cropsey viewpoint, the viewpoint of the killer. And what's cool about it is the attention to detail, because of what you end up seeing of him and how badly he's burned. He can't see out of one eye. You get this blurry vision. Like one eye's much clearer, the other is sort of blurry. So you're like, oh, that's from facial disfiguration from the burn, because you see him, he was head to toe in flames.
Yeah.
And then he goes to that hooker's room, and that's the first kill scene you get. I think it's through the throat. No.
It is. Yep.
The actual, what are they? Not pliers. Clippers. The edge clippers. Thank you. Right through the jugular, which is a kind of a kick-ass way to get involved as far as first kills.
Exactly. And back to the Tom Savini thing, I mean, it's just, this is classic Savini work, and I deemed The Prowler being Savini's best work, but this is a goddamn close fucking second, baby. I mean,
sure,
because and there's just so many scenes in this, and our usual format for this show is breaking down the entire movie, and I like that format. But I think for this movie, because it's, there's a lot of movies that came after this film that were very similar and tried to be
ones we've reviewed.
Very much so.
And so to kind of save you the same story, in some ways, right?
And to to note that I think this movie is just like, I think this is literally like the best. This is the best fucking summer camp slasher. It is. And I don't think, I think Sleepaway Camp comes at a hard second, and then the list goes on. But
sure,
I think that this is something you have to watch if
without
you
question.
are a fan of horror, of slashers, of not Jerry Seinfeld, of fucking George Costanza. If you're if you're a fan of all these things,
but I don't want to swim in the lake.
Yeah, reparations, Jerry, reparations.
Yeah.
But
here's a good summation, right? This film, it does follow the plot lines of a lot of its not predecessors, but is that the word predecessors? Predecessors pre, so that's before.
Yeah.
What's the post assessors?
Because the post assesses.
Post assesses.
But there's the 80s had a lot of things that came out, and Friday the 13th being a big influence in terms of using the summer camp slasher. There was definitely pulls from other films in this movie, but I think the thing is that the cast is so likable, and you're kind of on the killer side,
Sure.
While these counselors and campers are innocent to a degree, innocent in the sense that like they haven't done things wrong or didn't deliberately do this to him. But like you feel for him, he's the victim, but he's also the killer. So
and he's also now like a social outcast because of his disfigurations too.
Exactly.
Right?
I mean, nobody wants to fucking see that shit. Jesus Christ.
No, God no. But I think
get out of here. Holy
it does a great job of getting you to know, like I said, the cast of characters, sort of the love interest that the characers have with one another.
Yeah.
The overt horniness that exudes from the men in these films is like unreal, but it's so of the 80s that it's perfect. It's chef's kiss. Mwah, perfect.
It is. I agree. And listen, the kills in this are insane.
Insanity. Now, I will say the highlight of that is when they get away from the main camp, and it's right after Todd tells the story of Cropsey, right? So now it's a campfire tale. Not only is it a real thing that's happening, it's a campfire tale. Only 5 years later, they didn't waste time on that. By the way,
no, that's a campfire story right there.
Yeah, that's one of those too soon kind of questions. You're like,
for real.
Give it another half decade.
This
and maybe
happened here like not long ago. Fuck.
Yeah, like fucking cut the fucking cord, man. Like these kids are barely out of this shit. So but after Todd tells that story to the camp and they go on their little adventure, almost like a Boy Scout, like actually camping in nature, in the woods, kind of being self-sufficient. That's when things get real fucking heavy, right? Because they lose the canoes. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, is it Karen? Karen's the first of the campers to be killed by Cropsey. And does she get it through the jugular too? Or am I just
there's a lot of throat kills in this, and yes, you are right.
Which is they hone in on that pretty hard.
Yeah. Savini was definitely feeling. This was definitely a very throaty movie. There's a lot of cool parts in this film, and like one of the cool parts, which is right on the fucking smack dab front of this IMDb page, is fucking shit, what's his name? He's oh my god.
You got a case of the yawns. Got a case of the yawns.
He gets his fingers chopped off on a raft after they
Woodstock.
build the raft. Woodstock, that's it. Yeah,
Woodstock.
He gets his fucking fingers chopped off, and like that's just like it all happens.
Yeah, very visceral.
It's just like, oh, it's good, and then
but the lead up to that,
it's yes.
The lead up to that kill is so cool because they fucking, after Karen gets, she gets the jugular, and literally I think it's stuck into the tree, which is another cool, like that's almost like an ode to like the strength of like a Michael Myers. Yeah, Halloween, where we've talked about that in one of the episodes, gets plastered right to the pantry. But they build this raft, and again, being self-sufficient.
Hard work. They're all collecting wood, and they build this raft, and it's showing like teamwork and like even their paddles and their.
But we should also
makeshift.
Right, we should preface that they lost the canoes because Cropsey basically set them free. But one of the coolest trap kills, and very unique, and I don't think it's really ever been recreated to this day, even in terms of cool kills, is they're rafting back to the main camp and they see one of their canoes just kind of floating aimlessly into the lake, and they're like, oh, one of their canoes. He's like, all right, well let's paddle to it, let's get to it, let's jump in it and get safer to shore than this fucking rickety piece of shit we just built. So. But to your point, that's the cover. Cropsey comes up, and I think I read something with where he has the hedge clippers that they strategically put it to one side so the sun would actually reflect off of the hedge clippers. And apparently, I believe it was Tony Malum who did a lot of the kill scenes with the hedge clippers because who played Cropsey? I have his name right here. Lou David. I almost said Larry David, but not Larry David. But Lou David, he actually would do the kills himself because he was so specific about how you held the hedge clippers, because he wanted it to actually reflect off the sun so it kind of like gleamed onto the screen. But that's the quintessential kill of that movie, where he comes up and just starts eviscerating every single camp on that raft. What's cool to add about
this is that it gives you like almost like an Italian giallo feel, where like in giallo there's a lot of like zooming in on the switchblade or zooming in on the knife, like so that way you just really like get to see the weapon of choice. And in this, you're consistently reminded that these are hedge clippers being used, and like there's always a close-up of the hedge clippers, as he's lifting them in the air to then pummel them into his victim.
Sure.
So it's definitely cool to to kind of have an ode to that, you know?
Yeah, so, absolutely. But
that whole sequence for the raft and the canoe is nuts.
It's
very crazy.
Yep, and then it's sort of after that. That's like the crescendo of the film almost, where it's kind of like character development in the beginning, getting to know Cropsey as this revengeful murderer, getting to know the campers, and again their dynamics with one another. Alfred is the weird outcast. You're like, is he a spy? Is he a creep? Is he Cropsey? Is he gonna be the killer? Is it gonna be like a sleepaway camp type of situation? What's going on, right? And then it gets into, of course, that main kill, and that's where everything kind of breaks open. Right. And, it kind of leads everybody back to camp or back to not the main camp, but back to the little offshoot island that Todd, Michelle, and the rest of the campers are on, and getting away from Cropsey. And, there's this whole chase down, and it basically comes to a screaming halt in a place that almost looks like where the documentary Cropsey took place, which was this like Stonehenge area that. Yeah. We watch Eddie, we watch Sally get butchered to death. Alfred actually sees it, so he ends up being sort of the hero in all of it, which is a cool little circle that happens between him and Todd, anyway, of course. And it leads right into sort of like Cropsey's dungeon, almost kind of like Leatherface a little bit. It's not a true home, but it's just sort of his little killing den. Yeah, it's killing hut,
This is my hut.
This is my hut. But there is a lot of
MTV Cribs.
Yeah, welcome to my hut. He just fucking murders the cameraman. But no, it has a cool full circle, because Todd really ends up being the full circle, which you sort of forget from the beginning of the film to the end of the film, that Todd happens to be one of the kids who burned Cropsey 5 years ago, which is bold fucking move to tell that story on a campground.
I fucking did this, bitch.
Todd might be a sociopath. I'm not. Yeah, that might be an underlying tone.
He's got to go back to his crime.
Yeah. He's revisiting it.
Revisits the trauma or whatever.
Yeah, the burning, if you will. Jesus, good Lord. Yeah, got a little pop shot there. Bam. Just keep you honest. But he comes face to face with Cropsey, and they have this whole tangle at the end in Cropsey's hut, his kill hut.
Wango tango.
But Alfred gets it though, man. He gets the fucking hedge clippers because he gets tied up and he's kind of bound and gagged, and he gets the hedge clippers right, I think, through the arm, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, and they're just sticking in him.
Yeah, that's brutal, dude. That's a brutal little scene, And it was crazy with the 80s too. Just kind of segue. Just the kids in danger, which In Search of Darkness talks about. Like, they don't do it as much anymore, but the 80s had they were just full-fledged dick swinging on that. They were just 12, 13, 6, 3, who cares? They're in danger. Yeah, this is real life, all right? Yeah. We're real out here. Yeah. But they did that a lot, man. They did it a lot, and the burning's no exception to that at all.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Yeah. But
okay, well, listen.
That was a winding road we just took.
Listen, we talked about the burning. The burning is amazing, and this, we don't need to go through this whole fucking. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna hit this with a Tyler.
Yes.
Out of 5 hedge clippings.
Ooh, I like it.
What do you rate this?
I would give this a 4.1 hedge clippings out of 5. I think there's a lot of good things with this film. I think it's clever with how they portrayed Cropsey, that it is a true revenge story, but it kind of dives into things a little bit more in the beginning than some other films before and after it did. So I think it kept to a storyline pretty well. The cast of characters, some are likable, some are definitely not. Like Eddie, that dude's a full-blown rapist. There's no doubt about it in my mind. That dude's nuts. But
that guy sucks.
Yeah, he's the worst. So you didn't care about his kill, but there's characters you like, there's characters you don't like. With the sort of bait and switch of the character Alfred and sort of his story arc, I think is very cool. I really do like this film. I think there's a lot of good things here. There's a lot of great kills. It's visceral, but it's also tasteful with its angles at times. It doesn't give you everything, and it kind of still holds some things back, which I think is important in good horror films. I certainly think they did a great job with Cropsy and his reveal at the end too. They didn't kind of let that. They didn't let
that all looked great.
They didn't let that cat out of the bag too early, which I always like, because as soon as you do an upfront reveal, sometimes you can kind of lose the muster of the film at times. But I think a couple things that I thought slipped through the cracks. I thought the Todd as a character, as sort of the hero, he kind of is a sociopath. Like, that's what I kept thinking. I was like, this dude just burned this guy. Who knows if he even knows if he's dead or alive 5 years ago, and he's telling this campfire story, scaring people, which I was like, I don't know, that kind of doesn't make him that likable, So to your point, you kind of root for Cropsy in some ways, and you don't necessarily see him as all of this bad of guy. It's just a dude who's got a lot of trauma.
I love when horror films do that, when you can relate with the killer and you feel bad for him, and you're like, you know what, I get you, buddy.
Yeah.
I get you.
And I know we kind of went all over the place with this review, but I think, again, because the story is very similar to the ones before it and after it, I would definitely encourage people to watch it. It's a great revenge story. It's a great revenge story for the campers too. They get their revenge in the end, although it's much sooner than Cropsy's circle of revenge. But it has a good ending. One part we didn't talk about is the very ending of Todd telling the campfire story again, I think 5 years later, and saying he's going to get you, and then it kind of goes black and the movie ends. I think that's a really cool ending, clever ending.
Because it's alluding to a continuation.
Yeah, exactly. So you kind of don't know
who out there is going to direct the Burning Part 2.
Dude, or the remake even. I mean, which
2021 or 2022 remake of the Burning.
Yeah, it'd be fucking cool, man.
I'd be into
it. Cool. It'd be cool. And I should also mention too, I do want to get this in because I didn't mention it earlier, but what this movie is loosely based off of is the Cropsy murders. So I did get the name of the individual. So Andre Rand was the convicted killer. So I'm just going to read this conviction really quick, just so everybody has kind of a full background of how this movie kind of came to be and why Harvey Weinstein and Tony Malin sort of picked this area and had influence. So it was in 1988, so 7 years after this film was released, Andre Rand was charged with the kidnapping and first-degree murder of Jennifer Schweiger, who was one of many people to go missing, or, actually they found their bodies in the abandoned asylum that was Cropsy. The Staten Island jury could not reach a verdict on the murder charge, but convicted Rand of the first-degree kidnapping charge. He was sentenced to 25 years to life in prison. He would have been eligible for parole in 2008 if not convicted of a second kidnapping. And then according to the documentary Cropsy, which I recommend people to go watch, came out in 2009, some people along with detectives speculated that Rand may have been involved with Satanism and provided the children to be sacrificed. There were people also who thought that Rand was not alone in the commission of his crimes, and many believed he was passing the children around to his friends in the underground network of homeless and mentally disabled people living in the tunnel systems of the former Willowbrook State School. In 2004, Rand was again brought to trial, this time charged with the kidnapping of Holly Ann Hughes 23 years earlier. There was no statute of limitations in New York for first-degree kidnapping, which made this charge possible. A jury convicted Rand of the kidnapping in October of 2004, and he was sentenced to another consecutive 25 years to life in prison and will become eligible for parole in 2037 when he will be 93 years old. So some of these killings dated back to 9 years before The Burning came out, and they actually had another killing that happened in 81, the year The Burning was released. So that conviction didn't happen until nearly a decade later after this film came out. But I think it's actually a cool sort of true life nod, kind of like Texas Chainsaw Massacre with Ed Gein. So I just wanted to get that out there. But
very cool.
4.1. And I was also going to say, instead of hedge clippings, I was going to do Jason Alexander's hair follicles, but I like where you went with it.
I like
that. How about you, bud? What, I know you love this movie, but give it.
Yeah, no, for me it's a 5 of 5. It's a great fucking summer camp movie. With the backstory you just gave, that makes it even better.
Yeah,
and it's a fucking crazy ride. I think this is just something that every horror fan has to watch. I guess you can go rent it on fucking Prime or Vudu or something.
Yep. One of them.
Or you can hit up Psycho Pirate VHS and he will make you a bootleg. And
there you go.
But I fucking love this film. And Yeah, I think it's great. I think you just got to go fucking watch it. I mean, Tom Savini back at it again. He's on this podcast 100 times already, and like you just like he just knows how to fucking make shit look crazy. So
without a doubt.
And that's it. I'm just gonna keep repeating myself, and that's The Burning. Go fucking watch it. It's a fucking crazy film, and it's a great ride. And I'm really happy that you got to watch it. I'm really happy that you liked it as much as you did. And I'm really happy that we got to talk about it on the show.
Yeah, buddy. That
being said, for fucking next week, we're going to be talking Shark Exorcist 2 with actor, producer, writer, director of many other things, Bobby Canopy or Knipe Jr. And we're excited about that. There's going to be some cool stuff next week, too. Tyler's going to have a segment on the show. A name
yet to be determined.
Named.
Yeah, to be determined.
So, you'll like it. Tyler's gonna be talking about some really cool real life stuff.
Yeah, we're not just fake. We're real out here, people.
Yeah, we real. But yeah, you got a taste of it just now. Him talking about the connection of The Burning with the Rant murders and conviction. So, just get excited because that shit's gonna be sick, and I'm excited to fucking be around for it. And Tyler is a true crime aficionado connoisseur.
But I will shout out my wife, who's actually the true one. So I'm gonna have to.
I was gonna say this to you off air, but here we are. We're on the show. We're live.
We're fucking live.
Honestly, I think Kate needs a part on the show because she definitely does a lot of stuff behind the scenes. She watches the stuff with you. I think that I think Kate should have a segment on the show where she gets to talk about something and Kate's Corner. So
that's it,
we
dude.
Talked about it. We talked about it day one, but
we did. So maybe not next. But let's do the episode after.
Let's do the following. And we'll get Kate to come in and just drop some crazy shit about the film we're watching. But
some knowledge bombs. I like
some knowledge bombs on you. But listen, guys,
and we need a pretty face because let's be honest,
we're not doing it.
We're not doing it. We're not killing it in the looks category.
But listen, guys, Camp Crystal Latte. It's gonna be the coffee that keeps you up at night. It's gonna be the coffee that keeps you up during the day. It's gonna be the fuel that you need throughout the work week. All right. And when you're trying to get shit done on the weekends, you need that fresh cup of Joe. Now, listen, they have a ton of new blends out for the holiday season. They got a fucking trick or treat blend with Sam on the cover, all kinds of fruity notes and shit in that. We want you guys to go over to Camp Crystal Latte right now and use code Tapehead at checkout to get you 15% off your fucking order. Get a bunch of shit. Get them fucking grounds. Get the whole beans. Get espresso. Whatever the fuck you need, all right? You're going to be awake as fuck, all right? And it'll get you through that work week. And you know what you're going to do after that? You're going to go to wikicandleco.com and you're going to get yourself a fucking hearth-themed candle to fucking burn when your room smells like fucking ball sack, all right? You're going to burn that fucking candle. You're going to get that shit-stained smell out of your fucking room. You're going to make your shit smell better, all right?
That's it.
And after you've gotten all fired up from your Camp Crystal Latte fucking cup, you're going to fucking mellow out and chill down with a nice burn of a Wiki Candle Company candle.
That's it.
And you're going to go and pick out what you need and use code TAPEHEAD15 at checkout for 15% off your order. So go in, stock the fuck up, do your fucking shit, all right? Do the shit.
Keep doing this. I wish I had like a 15% GIF.
Just a fucking blah, blah, or sign or something.
Yeah, it's more like
that. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, but listen, guys. We're going to catch you next week. It's going to be some really cool shit. I'm happy that we're back in full swing of things.
Oh, yeah.
And we're just going to be on the ball with this shit, guys. And listen, check us out on Instagram at Tapehead Massacre is the handle. Check us out on Facebook if you fuck with Facebook. Just look up the Tapehead Massacre podcast. We're on YouTube. Same deal, Tapehead Massacre podcast. If you want to watch, if you're a visual listener, we have the podcast on YouTube as well. But yeah, make sure you rate, review, subscribe. You do all that kind of stuff because it does help us out a ton. We know we took a break for a little bit, but listen, it's going to be weekly episodes every Tuesday, back to normal schedule. And we will see you guys literally every Tuesday or maybe Wednesday, whenever the fuck you click play.
Yeah, whenever you watch it. Right? Doesn't matter. Yeah.
So
how do we feel?
That being said, Ty Guy.
Yes.
Listen, bud.
Hey.
Next week we're gonna be talking Shark Exorcist 2, which hasn't come out yet.
I love it.
We're gonna have an inside scoop on the exorcism of sharks.
Yeah, which is, I don't even know how that gets done, but I'm curious to know, and I would love to know how it gets done.
They need to exorcise the demons from these sharks. All right?
I don't like sharks, to be quite honest. I don't like deep water.
Sharks.
So this is probably good for me to learn, so I can protect myself in 3 feet or more of water, because that's when sharks can fuck around with you, and I don't like it. So
listen, that's it, baby. That's it. We just gotta keep it high and tight. All right.
High and tight, baby. High and tight. Which, by the way, guys, if let me know when you watch this Tuesday. But I'm gonna go drink some beer because I got a bunch of craft boys, and I'm gonna go watch, because I didn't watch it last night, on Friday, Joe Bob's Halloween Hoedown.
Halloween Hoedown, baby. It's out on Shudder now. Also, it's on the list to watch. It might happen tonight for me, but the film series that has been out for quite some time now, the VHS series.
Yeah.
This is the 3rd installment, if I'm not mistaken, maybe the 4th. I'm not sure, but it's called VHS 94.
Whoa, so, I've only seen the first 2, so it might be.
I think there. I don't know if there is a 3rd. We're gonna it's on Shudder, and it's called VHS 94. It's gonna be right on the home screen as soon as you open up your Shudder app. Yep. We're gonna watch that tonight. I'm gonna watch that tonight. Pam,
let me know.
So
let me know.
I'm gonna hit you up and let you know. Well, listen, buddy, it's been real. Fucking love this shit. I love you guys. Love all y'all out there in the fucking virtual world. We'll see you guys next week for a fucking inside scoop on Shark Exorcist 2 with director, producer, actor, writer Bobby Canopy Jr.
Oh yeah, much love, guys. Love you all. Thanks for tuning in.